What's the toughest problem that Obama faces in getting elected, and what's the toughest problem that McCain faces in getting elected?
See, they've got you doing it.
They got me.
Well, the toughest problem for Obama is who he is. He's trying to hide who he is, but if McCain defines who he truly is, the American people will see somebody that's to the left of McGovern, and they're not going to elect somebody that's more liberal than McGovern. The toughest thing for McCain is to build a party / organization that from which he can run, and that's very difficult. Does he have enough time to do that? I hope so.
Will a running mate make a difference?
I think a running mate makes a big difference.
Who should it be?
Not the difference.
Okay, who for McCain?
Well, it has to be somebody that appeals to the right, that accepts, but doesn't denigrate the independents. That's somebody like Mark Sanford, governor of South Carolina.
And how about for Obama?
Obama, it's going to be Hillary Clinton, whether he likes it or not.
Congressman, how bad is it going to be for the Republicans in the House and the Senate? They're slated to lose a lot of seats. How bad do you think it's going to be, and can anything be done in the next 5 months to change anything?
Well, there's some things that can be done in the next 5 months to stop the bleeding. First, you have to remember that the loss of a majority is huge, but it was not as big a loss as people want to make it out to be. There are some vulnerable seats out there. It depends on can they get their act together soon enough to counter the massive coalition that the Democrats have placed up against them. And I think it's too early to tell, but yeah, the Republicans are in a lot of hurt right now.
And the conservative movement, you keep reading these articles and some books even, that the conservative movement is dead. What's your view?
Oh, I don't think it's dead at all. I think it's fractured. I think it's demoralized. I think it's leaderless. You got a lot of different organizations out there doing their own things. You got the security conservatives over here in their silo. You got the economic conservatives over here in their silo, and the social conservatives over in their silo, and they're not working together and developing a conservative movement. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do.
Now, what's your organization going to do concretely to try to fix that problem?
It's called the Coalition for Conservative Majority. Coalition is a key word. You take good, solid conservatives, whether they be social, economic, or security, and bring them together to work and drive a conservative agenda. That's the goal.
Well, there are other organizations out there. There's American Conservative Union. There's the CPAC. What is it that you're going to bring that's not already out there?
Action, strategy, training political activists on the ground, not mail houses or mailing lists or email lists. Real people that want to make a real difference in the future of this country.
Well, so you're kind of a national action team, because you used to have action teams when you were running the show in Capitol Hill, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of a national action team. Is that the idea?
No, and just the opposite. The days of what's called top roots or whatever it's called.
Grassroots?
No, top roots. Everything coming from the top down to the people out there in the real world is over. The new paradigm in politics is grassroots up.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're going to people in Las Vegas, in Phoenix, in Denver, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and finding those political activists that want to do something and training them and teaching them and leading them to do something.
Now, when you find the Democrats now have taken over the majority in the House and the Senate, you have usually what used to be conservative states like Virginia now electing Democrats. Do you feel right now that the country has moved to the left?
No, not in fact, just the opposite. We're still a conservative country. The problem that we're having as conservatives and as a country is we desperately need leaders. And
recruitment
and people to not be intimidated by standing up and fighting for what they believe in. That's a real problem right now.
Yeah, but one of the complaints I hear most is that many of the candidates are very weak candidates on the Republican side, and recruitment has not been very strong.
Well, I can't really speak to that because I haven't really looked at each individual candidate. But what I do know and what I sense as I run around the country as people are looking at the new paradigm of criminalization of politics, where if you are a person that stands up to the left, they'll take you out, bankrupt you, try to put you in jail. Well, people are seeing that and saying, I'm not putting my family through that. And so the left strategy is working. It's intimidating good people to come forward. It's intimidating people that are there to stick their head up and stand for what they believe in. And it's having an impact.
McCain-Feingold plays a role in this, doesn't it?
It's very much part of it.
Very much a part. And who was all for McCain-Feingold? Was it not the current president, George W. Bush, and his team? Didn't they?
I think George W. Bush reluctantly signed McCain-Feingold.
Signed it in the middle of the night.
I remember George W. Bush's team telling me that we can raise twice as much money with this if we get this passed, and this will help us. So, Tom, I just wonder if Republicans don't share a lot of the blame for the problems that they're not having.
First of all, the Republicans did not pass McCain-Feingold. The Democrats and a few Republicans passed McCain-Feingold. The president has never taken credit for McCain-Feingold.
I was sick that day that the president said, "I will veto this if you pass it." But
no, that's what I'm saying.
He never said that.
No, he never said that, and he should have vetoed it. And we urged him vehemently. And we were able to stop McCain-Feingold for 6 years.
Yeah, but you're no longer there.
Right.
So you talk about the conservative movement being disabled, dysfunctional, splintered, but not dead. But doesn't it have an awfully close relationship with the Republican Party, which some people think is dead? Is the problem that they're too closely intertwined? Do they need to draw apart, and do conservatives need to strike out on their own and make the Republican Party follow them? What's the solution?
I hate to go back into yesterday, but the conservatives in America need to take the party back. And the conservatives in America need to do what we did in 1976 and 1980. Grassroots people coming together, going to their precinct conventions and taking that party back. We're not there now. It probably won't happen this year. But over the next election cycles, maybe that's the fight that's going to be going on in the party.
Now, when you see a $250 billion supplemental bill passing the Senate for the war, but also loaded down with discretionary spending, a $51 billion GI bill that the Republicans oppose, and 25 Republicans voted for them. It's like something, 72 votes. Veto-proof, send it over to the House. Doesn't that frustrate you? And can you see how Republicans out in the hinterlands are saying, they're not voting the way I think they should be voting?
Well, yes, it does frustrate me, and I criticize those that vote for it, but I also praise those that voted against it and are standing their ground. That's not being done. People are not noticing that a few Republicans
25
are doing the wrong thing, but you're talking about the Senate. That means 20 did the right thing. So the point is that they need leadership to pull them together and develop strategies that pulls us behind and stand on Republican/conservative principles.
Need, future. Thanks for stopping in.
My pleasure.
With two guys in the newsroom. Thanks, Tom.
Glad to be here.
Thanks, Congressman.
My pleasure.